it's a good example of I'm not growing food there, so there's that, and I don't walk over there that often, but, like, all that's gonna do is turn into weed seed,
Yeah,
and next
absolutely.
year, guess what happens? That's the reason why they're there now because of last year, right? Um, Among other things, with
And it's just gonna
weeds moving
spread
around.
too. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
I was watching I'm trying to think of the name of it, and I lost the comment somehow. Someone, asked me about a particular weed, now that you mention it. I don't remember the name of it, but they come from those helicopter pods.
Yeah.
There are a couple of different like, there are m maple seedlings that could come from them, but it's not that. But the helicopter pods that kinda fly around, we had so many of 'em, more than I've really seen in recent years, that came in this spring and they are popping up. This weed is popping up everywhere. And unfortunately, the person commented and was like, I'm fighting them. I've been fighting them, pull them immediately. And I'm just like, I can't keep up with them.
Yeah.
But I also know the trouble. My neighbor has one that it's grown as high as her window, which, what's that like? 11 feet tall or something. And once it sets roots and that the stem is that thick, it's almost, I mean, it's hard
It's a
work to pull
tree.
them out. Yet it's absolutely a tree.
Yeah.
and, so I say that to say, like, there's a level of neglect that you can have in your own garden space that not only does it harm your fall garden, it could harm your garden in years to come. It's just more work for yourself. Now, again, all of those little trees that are growing up, once they get enough height, probably about hand size, I can get a firm grip on them and pull them out. And I'm doing that. So they're not ever big enough. I don't ever let them get big enough to really set a real root. And that's the only way I can manage it.
Yeah, it's weeding is the subject of gardening that in my opinion can't be any more boring to talk about. I mean, and the reason why I say that, the reason why I say that's cuz it's like, okay, yes, we all know we have to weed. Yes, we all know it's one of the worst jobs. I don't know. I've My wife likes to weed. I think she likes the instant gratification part of it. But after that, like, I don't know anybody else that's just like, oh man, today's the day where I get to go out and weed my garden. And it's easy for it to get out of hand.
Yeah.
And, that's the problem. And you come into this time of year and we're looking at it and we're saying, hey, it's time. We want to plant again, but we have to go through and do the things that are appropriate. And weeding is a really big part of it. And I have one weed that's coming up. It spreads by rhizome, so it's really hard to get. And it's a grass of some sort, and it's a nightmare. I've tried and tried, and I pull and pull and pull, and it just keeps coming back. So, we don't want these things to take foot in our garden. And what we really don't want, especially this time of year, is you don't want it to start dropping its seed in your garden and then overwintering. And then you're just going to start the spring with an absolute nightmare. And I mean, there's ways to get rid of it, but it just makes it a lot more difficult. So,
Yeah, I'm still looking up to see if I can find the name of the seed. And the weed that it grows into. The hard part, and again, no one that I know enjoys weeding besides your wife, is there's some places in my garden that I'm weeding 2 to 3 times a season, and that's the frustrating part.
that's
The
it,
space
just
in
two to
between.
three.
Yeah, but it's like,
Ooh.
an hour of weeding there. So the space in between the cage baby and my neighbor's fence, those are where the weed trees grow, and more recently, I've had, like, think about, like, morning glory. It's not exactly that, but it's that kind of invasive type of vining crop. Not only does it wrap itself around the wire in the cage baby, it wraps itself around, like, the electrical wires that are just above it. So every August, have looked back, I've sent her a text like, "Hey, it's that time of year." And so I'm going on her side of the fence to really pull those things out. I
Yeah.
did that like 3 weeks ago, and I'm looking like,
It's just
again,
coming
talk
right
about
back.
rethinking, that design if I had a chance to do it over again. Now, again, what's
Anything
growing
can be
in.
changed. Anything
Yeah,
can be
yeah, for sure,
changed.
for sure. If what's growing there is not as problematic, but the irony is the cage baby based on the height, which is it's probably like just over 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. it actually help. It's like a trellis for them. I've created a weed trellis, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. You mentioned morning glories and stuff. I have trellises around my property
Mhm.
that I desperately want vining crops on. But every time I find something and I read about it, it's like, it's invasive, it's
Yeah.
invasive, it's
Yeah.
invasive. And so it's like, I don't want to cause another headache. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So, and I mean, I know you could go out and deadhead it and not let it seed, but let's be honest. I'm not going to keep up with that. I don't, so morning
And those
glories.
things grow faster than any vegetable I've ever seen, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Well, and then they get so big they'll collapse the trellis, and then then you're like,
mhm,
well, great,
mhm.
now I'm back to square one. So
Yeah.
I'm on the hunt. I'm on the absolute hunt. If anybody watching on YouTube that has a vining flower that they like, let us know in the comments.
Do you want it to be a perennial or do you want it to be an annual?
Um, Perennial would be ideal, but annual is fine. I mean,
Mhm, mhm.
I don't mind planting annuals in a few places, but I don't want my whole yard to depend on me having to go out and seed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, I remember as a kid, my grandfather, he did all his planting, but, around his house, his flowers and stuff, they were all perennials, and all he had to do was trim it and maintain it. And that's what I like. So I don't know. I'm open to it. All right. That's enough about weeding, though. That's for sure.
Perfect timing. Tree of heaven.
Tree of heaven.
Yeah, this rapidly growing deciduous tree native to China is considered widespread invasive
That's
species
why,
in
because
North
It's from
America.
China.
Well, I wasn't going to say all of that.
Well, no, the
But
reason why I say that, do you remember that year when gardeners across the country were getting seeds in the mail from China
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
people were planting them?
Hmm.
You ever thought if that was like a type of like biological warfare? And it's like, we'll send these invasive seeds and these people were going to plant them and grow it. And then like it takes over. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think like kudzu, right? And do you have
Hmm.
kudzu
Hmm.
up in your area?
Not in my specific garden area, but yeah.
Where I grew up, there was kudzu, and I mean, that stuff is insane, And you talk about invasive as invasive can be. So I just always wondered about that.
I mean, anything's possible, and it maybe isn't even that far fetched.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be pretty diabolical. Just never mind. We can go down a dark, dark path. Let's move on.